Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. I am the workwife. My name is Rachel, and today's topic is going to be about how to begin the process of detoxing. How to detox from that toxic work environment, toxic boss, toxic coworker that you've been dealing with day in and day out. But before I jump in, I am a workplace coach with nearly 20 years experience in the corporate world, from big to small companies and everything in between, where the common denominator was toxicity. And I've successfully navigated myself through and out of those environments, and I would love to help you with your situation. So if you like this content, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and I would love it if you would subscribe and share with your family and friends who might be going through this situation as well. I'd love to help. And you can email me at theworkwifellc@gmail.com or send me a message on Instagram at theworkwife. Anyway, let's dive into today's topic. And it may not be what you think I might be talking about in terms of how to detox. There are a number of techniques and tools and tips to help you get centered, which I will probably cover in future videos. And I think I did talk about breath work maybe a couple of weeks ago. But today we're going to talk about why repeating the old story, which may be a current story, but why repeating it is not necessarily in your best interests. What you focus on grows. And I definitely had that experience. When you talk about your toxic environment with your coworkers, with your friends, with your family, day in and day out, I'm not saying you're not supposed to. You do need to release that tension and the upset, whatever happened during the day. I'm not discouraging that. However, if you are not providing yourself with some sort of solace or compassion or a constructive way out of the situation you were dealing with, all you're doing is just magnifying what you're going through. When you go to that happy hour with your coworkers and you're all sitting around drinking, talking about how everything sucks, and your boss is this and your boss is that, and life is awful, don't you feel worse after a while? Now, it could be the alcohol, but I'm just saying. Ultimately, in the beginning, it's very cathartic to get it out and to have that camaraderie and to have that support and to know that, yes, other people are feeling the same way you do. But if you're not countering that in your mind with, okay, so if I'm not prepared to leave this job right now, how am I going to resolve this the next day and the next day? You're just carrying the football of crap from one day to the next, and it's just accumulating until it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And yet you're still saying to yourself, well, there's nothing I can do about that. That's not true. But you're not focusing on that. You're focusing on the problem. And as I said earlier, what you focus on just grows. It just does. It doesn't get any better talking about it day in, day out. You have a choice, believe it or not. And I know I don't have a choice, but if anything, it's your ego that keeps you where you are. And what I mean by that is you have that paycheck, you're making bank, you're making a good salary, but your life does suck day in, day out because of that toxic environment, because it's pure poison, right? And you say, well, I don't have a choice because I have to do X, Y, and Z and I've got to take care. Well, you do have a choice, actually. You're choosing to go into that place every day and complain about it to anyone who will listen. And it's not giving you any solutions, is it? Because you're in your ego. Your ego mind is like, well, we have to go because, you got a good salary and you're in an excellent position. And who knows, it may not be necessarily your ego. It could be whoever you're listening to, your family, your friends, saying, well, it's not that bad. Just, hang in there. You got a good job, you've got a good title. Again, that loops back to your ego. It's feeding your ego. Where you're saying, you're right, I can handle this. This is not that bad. But meanwhile, your heart is going, I'm dying here. I'm literally dying. Like, it's not fulfilling. My mental health is suffering. I look like I've aged 20 years, and it's not good for me, right? There's your choice right there. And I'm not saying it's easy, but there is a choice. You're making a choice every single second. And whether it's conscious or unconscious, you're making a choice. So every time I walked into that toxic work environment and then complained about it with my coworkers and I was just reaffirming, yes, this is shit. I'm walking into shit. I'm walking into shit. I'm making this choice. And then when a close coworker of mine left, we were all like, how, what? Because we kept telling each other we were trapped. It was like prison. And the fact that she decided one day, you know what, my mental health is more important to me than this, whatever, this role, this job, whatever, this paycheck, whatever it might have been, she had enough. She valued herself. She made a choice. And that is not to say that every time you stay in a toxic work environment, you are devaluing yourself. But again, I'm saying it has to be a choice you make for yourself. You have to sit with yourself, not your ego, not what everyone else says about your job. But take a breath instead of complaining and reinforcing that you're trapped in this environment. You sit with yourself, take a deep breath, or you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I've got two choices here, right? Instead of thinking with up here, think here and say, okay, how do I feel when I go into this job every day? Is my mental health suffering? Am I snapping at my family and friends? Am I becoming more remote and reclusive because I'm suffering so much in this job and I'm not telling anybody? Is my productivity going down because I hate my job so much? Am I so disengaged, like I was, that I sit in my car for 30 minutes because I can't bear to walk inside? Those are the things you need to evaluate for yourself. Or you say, you know what, the job does suck right now, but I have financial goals. Or maybe the job isn't that bad, but the boss is bad. Or maybe you've got someone temporary over you who's making your life miserable and that person's on their way out, so you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Or you say the company is great, but this particular division sucks, so maybe I have a lateral opportunity to go to another department or another, building or something like that to get out from under. I want to stay with the company, but this is a particular situation that's temporary that I can see myself getting out of, but without really leaving the company. All those options come when you give yourself a breath and you really decide what's important to you. And you say, okay, it is important for me to stay with this company. I've had loyalty to this company this long, or I really appreciate the camaraderie I have with my coworkers. It's just this particular boss. And maybe I'm going to make the decision, instead of, when I encounter this toxic boss, instead of reacting with fear, anger, why is this happening to me? Every time he goes rah, 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 rah in my face, I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm going to make the decision, the choice to not react. I know that's tough. That's a Zen place that I haven't yet gotten to yet. Especially if someone's yelling in my face. But some people have done that. They're like, this person doesn't matter to me because I know why I'm here. And I'm making the choice to be here, the conscious choice to be here. The problem comes in when these choices are unconscious and we think we have no choice. And then we feel trapped here. And then you tell people when they say, why don't you just leave? They go, I don't have a choice. You do. You just don't want to make it because it involves facing things that you may not want to face. You don't want to face leaving the job. You don't want to face doing your damn resume. You don't want to face the prospect of maybe being out of work for a while until you find your own position, or whatever the case might be. You don't want to face the thing that would actually help you get out of the hell loop in your mind. That's a Lucifer reference, in case you watch that show. I'm a fan. So it's something to think about when it comes to detoxing. It's not, I know you probably thought I was going to talk about some sort of technique of, getting centered, and that's all great. Meditating is great. I'll talk about that in a future video. But in the moment when you have complained about the same job day in, day out, like it sucks, the people suck, blah, 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 instead of, that just makes things worse. Focus, take a moment, take a breath, drop into your body, because the heart is going to tell you what the truth is, not your mind, because the mind is just going to go ping pong, because it likes it. It's eating popcorn while it's watching you twist in the wind. So at least I always think of that Michael Jackson meme while you're kvetching to yourself about the job. But I just wanted to put that out there, that everything is a choice, even when you think that it's not. And the goal is to be conscious so that when you go to that job, you choose to stay, you're dialed in as to why. And I think once you make that conscious choice, whether to stay or to leave, you'll find that the complaining goes down a lot, and then you won't feel that compulsion to hook up with your, well, I don't mean hook up, you know what I mean, but meet up with your coworkers and talk about how horrible it is. In fact, as they complain, you're gonna be like, you know what, I'm not in that place anymore. I'm just gonna make the best of it. They won't be able to relate to that because they're still in their loop, making the unconscious choice to stay. They, you know, and that's like, that was our reaction when she left. We were like, how dare she escape? And then we all did too. So anyway, hopefully you like this video. If this was helpful for you, if this is a situation you find yourself in, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to talk to you about your situation, and you know, as I said, what you focus on grows, and so, you know, focus on, you know, staying. If you're going to stay there consciously, but if you want to go, just go, but don't sit there and complain that you have no way out, because you do. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video, and as always, if you have a comment or suggestion for future videos, I'd be happy to hear, and stay cool and stay centered until next time. Bye.